The ISTP, as a learner, is more interested in learning how the information is going to help them to achieve their goals and how things work. They learn best through practical application as well as active application. However, they are independent learners. They really do enjoy complex challenges and problem solvings. They like to investigate the small details and look at sequential information, and they're most intrigued by logical and linear learning. The ISTPs are quick to apply learning and knowledge to their situations, and they're going to devote themselves to learning something until they master a piece of content. Now, the interesting thing about an ISTP is that they tend to be highly critical of themselves, and they are driven by desire to learn skills and to actively use it. The ISTP makes up approximately 5.5% of our total population. 8.5% of men tend to be an ISTP, while only 2.4% of women. When we average those together, that's where we get our 5.5% of our total population. An ISTP is both analytical and pragmatic, so remember that. These are their key words when you're working with them, and they want to be able to answer the question of, how does this work? There are some wonderful instructional strategies that can be used with an ISTP. They love to have an active learning environment where they can assess, they can identify, and they can have that cause and effect. And that goes along with their learner question of, how does this work? They are a traditional classroom setting learner and love to have a close relationship with their instructor if possible. Now, they also enjoy that experiential learning. And that experiential learning, again, back to that question, how does this work? They want to know how things work. So when they can work with something new or play with it, they're going to have a greater respect for how things work. They are a hands-on learner that really likes to have some imaginative or creative options that goes along with their perceiving part of their personality. They also tend to be an independent learner. So as an instructor, if you can model and give them an opportunity to observe things and then set them off on their own to learn, they're going to master that content. The ISTP, remember, they love complex challenges and problem solvings, and they really are going to dive into things and learn it until they master it, because they are very, very critical of themselves. They like a moderate pace of instruction, and they don't mind working with other people as long as it's not in a huge group setting. So a partnership would work well for them, especially if you could partner them with someone that is a little bit different, but not too different for them. Remember, give them that opportunity to learn some practical applications so that they can answer the question of, how does something work? The ISTP also likes to be able to have a quick preview and review of what they are learning. So if you can give them a preview, and especially if you can give them a question at the beginning that's going to challenge their thinking. For instance, you may want to ask them a question of, how can you innovatively use this new technology to solve, I don't know, what would you use? Maybe water runoff. That would be an opportunity now for them as they move into a unit on maybe green or an economy or things like that, and you can create some kind of challenge for them to be able to learn. Just a quick question like that is going to really be able to help them to focus on the information and to dive into it, because they love problem solving. Also make sure though that you give them plenty of time to really reflect on the information. They need time to ponder, they need quiet in order to assimilate and to be able to integrate and scaffold that information into existing schemas. They do enjoy patterns as well as visuals. Now don't forget that they are great at self-instruction. So if at some point you need to work with a different learner, you can quickly hand an ISTP a package of information with knowledge, and they're going to go through it and they will learn it in great detail.